As long as people have traveled for pleasure, tourism has provided opportunities for work, for economic development, and for social advancement. From being for the pursuit of a few, in the 20th century, tourism became a possibility for the many. Its growth helped heal the scars of war and build peace between nations. The first International Congress of Tourist Organizations met at The Hague in 1927. In 1947, the Union moved from The Hague to Geneva, placing tourism at the heart of global diplomacy and reconstruction following World War II. Within a decade, this Congress evolved to become the International Union of Official Travel Organizations, laying the foundations for UNWTO. And as men walked on the moon, the rise of affordable tourism helped make Earth seem smaller and more accessible. During these years, the number of international tourist arrivals was growing rapidly, from 25 million in 1951 to 166 million just 20 years later. Spain led the way in supporting the sector's expansion, bringing jobs, opportunities, and economic growth. Many countries would follow this example. With growth comes diversity. In the 1950s, the top 5 global destinations welcomed 70% of all tourists. But in the 1970s, their market share went below 50%. More and more destinations were tapping into the social and economic benefits that only tourism can deliver. A once largely European phenomenon grew to include Asia and the Pacific, the Americas, the Middle East, and Africa. Tourism was fast becoming an important driver of growth and opportunity for countries at all development stages. Reflecting this growing relevance, tourism became integrated into the United Nations system. The UN declared 1967 the International Tourism Year with the slogan, "Tourism, a passport to peace." In 1976, the World Tourism Organization was established in Madrid, in time to start leading a sector that promotes international solidarity as walls of division started coming down. Madrid has stayed strong to its word, advancing tourism to drive sustainable growth and peace across the globe. Spain remains a leading destination and strong ally of tourism for development. From making the largest single contribution in the UN's history with its support of the Millennial Development Goals, to recognizing tourism as an essential tool for achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. UNWTO has also been able to count on the strongest support from the Government of Spain and the Royal House, standing by tourism in both good times and bad. Reflecting tourism's worldwide relevance in 2003, the United Nations General Assembly welcomed the organization as a special agency in its own right. In 2004, the UNWTO name and branding were launched, a new look and a renewed determination. As tourism has evolved, UNWTO has united the sector and directed its growth. With the emergence of new media and platforms, UNWTO has ensured the digital transformation of tourism works for everyone. And when international arrivals passed the 1 billion mark in 2012, UNWTO was there to make sure the sector is seen as a central part of the conversation. Tourism's power to build a better future for people and planet was further emphasized with the UN International Year of Sustainable Tourism for Development in 2017, a year which saw 1.3 billion international tourist travel, on track for a record 1.5 billion in 2019. As a sector that touches on virtually every part of society, tourism stepped up to face up to the climate challenge. The sector also became more inclusive, diverse, and fit for the 21st century. To reflect this, UNWTO itself became more agile, championing innovation, entrepreneurship, and investments. The Sustainable Development Goals provided the framework as UNWTO made sure tourism was firmly established in the UN agenda. Because of this, when the COVID pandemic hit in 2020, tourism was a central pillar of the UN response. Today, the sector enjoys unprecedented levels of political support and goodwill, alongside broad public recognition. Tourism is prepared to bounce back and lead recovery in 2021 and beyond. A year after the King of Spain was presented with the Madrid Declaration on Tourism in the 21st century, this pronouncement is more relevant than ever. Just as the Spanish crown has stood by tourism in the good times, so does it support the sector at this time of challenge. Such support is critical, showing a sector and a society united at every level and setting an example for other countries to follow. 2021 is the year tourism restarts, for people, for planet, and for a shared prosperity.